Each transaction entry screen is a list of selected columns organized in a grid that define your account activity. The columns that are displayed and the order in which they're displayed can be customized. Let's look at a payment screen. In the center of the screen is the grid that will be where you select your accounts and the details that you want recorded to those particular accounts. If we right-click on the blue row and select Add Remove Columns, the columns that display have a check mark in it, and the ones that aren't displayed do not have a check mark in them. The order that is displayed can be changed. The order that they appear right now is how you see them, and the order can be changed by selecting one of the columns and using your green up and down arrows. So if we maybe want a notation further up in the line, we can highlight notation and click the up arrow and move it to where we want. Maybe there's some columns we don't need to see, so we can uncheck company if we don't need that. If we don't usually use project, we can uncheck that. Any column that you don't display on the front grid, you can still get to by selecting the detail button on that particular row of the transaction. If we want to add some columns, we can scroll down to the ones that are not selected, and perhaps we want Profit Center, and let's add Associated Account also. Once you have the additional columns selected, click the striped up arrow. That will gather those columns to the top, and now we can order them again if we need to. So we'll highlight Profit Center and we'll move it up a little bit again in the grid. Once you have how you want it set, you can click OK, and the grid redistributes. Now let's put in a quick transaction, and I'll show you another thing that can be changed on the transaction grid. Okay, say yes. All right, we're going to choose repair expense. When you're in the invoice reference number, if you are adding a lot of different pieces for a particular invoice and you want that same invoice number recorded to all the different pieces in that transaction without entering that number over and over, you can right-click on the blue row underneath invoice reference number column and choose Repeat Previous Value. Now if I put in a number here for that invoice number, and we're going to say this is for a tire repair, and we're going to say it's for our biking profit center. We're going to do $95, and we're going to say that was for the SUV. Okay, we're going to go to the next line, and we're also going to buy some gas. All right, and you see it repeated the invoice reference number. We're going to use the same profit center. And let's go back and say that we want 30 gallons at $90. And this is going to be for the pickup, 2018 pickup. Okay. Every row that you have in the transaction screen can be expanded with the little plus sign to the left of that row. This will show you the accounts that are going to be recorded in this particular piece of the transaction. So our cash that we chose up at the top of the screen is going to be credited by $90, and the gasoline expense is going to be debited by $90. If we expand the repairs, again we see the cash being credited $95 and the repair expense as debit of $95. If you click the minus sign, that will collapse it again. It'll toggle between collapse and expanded. This grid can now be also changed and customized by a right click and choosing Add Remove Columns. And let's say that we want Profit Center and Associated Account on this also. We'll add those, and again we can click the green up arrow, gather them to the top, and if we want to change the order, we can. We can move that up if we want, and click OK. And now we can see the exact details that are going to get recorded on this particular piece of the transaction. Another thing you can do in this grid is change the order of the transaction details that we've entered. Let's say that we ordered them out of sequence and we want our invoice to be printed out exactly how it was on their invoice. So we're going to right click again, choose Add Remove Columns, and there is a column called Line Sequence. We're going to add that column, click OK, and every row in the grid will get the sequence of 10, 20, and it would be 30, 40 on down the line. If we say that we actually wanted gas and oil to display first, we could change this number to be a lower number than 10. We'll just put in 8. And if we come down here to Options and refresh, we'll see that it reordered it. It put a 10 and 20 there again, but it knew that because I had entered 8 on that line sequence, it now put that one before repairs expense, and now this will be how it prints out if we were printing an invoice. All of these options in the grid will work the same way in all of your transaction entry screens. Each transaction entry screen can have its own settings and will be remembered for the next time that you use that screen.